Hi guys, and welcome to another video. I'm kind of gotten to the end of my big pack of samples. All of these didn't come in that one box, but like I'm really want to clear out before I start my job, and my job that's on the 17th of January. So I have a little under 1 week before I start, and I just don't want to feel stressed out. I just want to grab a bottle and perfume myself for the day and just feel good about myself. And I'm not going to struggle with little things like this. This one has someone's name on it because I promised it to her. I'll start with this little mini. It's called Je Osais. And I can't remember what that means. I should have looked that up. It's from Guy Laroche. And it's a fragrance from 1978. I'm going to put her name back on there. She's coming to our perfume meetup. It's now on Sunday. So if any of you listening out there in the world just happen to be in Sweden over the weekend, you are so welcome to join us. It'll be on the 14th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we just keep it simple. I put up some tables and people take their little spot and we just kind of walk around sniffing each other's stuff and swap fragrances. And then I invite to like coffee and tea, and so I'll bake something, just cookies or a cake or sometimes fruit salad, whatever. Just easy, no real food. But and then people usually stay 2 or 3 hours and then we go home. And we all have a good time. At least me, I have a really good time. But this, okay, so I tried 2 fragrances parallel to each other. One was Je Osais, and I want to take them side by side because they're kind of the same. They fall into the same category of fragrance. One is Fendi from Fendi, and it looks like this. It looks slightly different in a bigger size, and this is Je Osais. And I don't have any previous experience with these 2 particular fragrances, but I kind of know the style. This came out in 1978. This came out in 1985, but they're both kind of like Chypre style fragrances. Although, let me see, do they have? Yeah, they do fit. They fit the description. And I think like the definition of a Chypre is, there's some kind of citrus or bergamot in the top. These don't. Only this one says bergamot, but the other one has other citruses. And then in the bottom they have oak moss, and in the mid there are all kinds of florals. So they have that in common, and there are very many notes in common. And I wore them yesterday. I haven't given any of them a full wearing. I mean, there's so little, and I know that this one woman is really excited about trying this, and there's just like a speck in there. I just thought, I'm just going to try it in like my whole underarm, and I wore them like all day, and I wore a lot. That will be enough. And they are both quite a challenge in the opening, which I find very characteristic for this era. Like in the 80s, 90s, whenever you would buy a perfume, you had to kind of struggle through the first half hour. And these were just like that. Very, very sharp and aldehydic to start with. Let's see. But then they kind of change a little bit. But they have like the same, they both have aldehydes, they both have coriander, they both have rose, patchouli, oak moss, amber notes. They're very similar note structure. Not identical in any way, but this one, Je Osais, is a little bit more ambery. To me, I get like a leathery vibe. I find it to be a little bit similar to Crier de Lancôme. This one might be a speck more unique and interesting, and this one is a little bit close to. 61 people say it's close to Coco Chanel, and I don't really know that fragrance that well. But they're both really beautiful in the dry down. But it's a mini, and you got to fiddle with this little thing. So I think that maybe I might pass that on. I might give that to someone at the meetup. So that definitely they're not going to sit around collecting dust here. Then there was another mini in the package. It's Nina from Nina Ricci, the EDT. I think this might come in a few different concentrations. I didn't like this one. This one is definitely from that era too. Very sharp in the opening, but then kind of a very strong dominant lily of the valley kind of stays. And let's see what I wrote here. It was from 1987, so pretty close in time to the other 2. Or Fendi was 1985, this one 1987. It also is aldehydic, aldehydes in the top. What else? I guess it has some herbal notes like basil, currant buds. Not sure what kind of note that is really. Bergamot, peach, lemon. Florals in the mid, mimosa orris, and the base oak moss. I mean but it has that really sharp lily of the valley to me. Or I don't even know if it doesn't even have lily of the valley listed, but to me, it smells old, soapy, aldehydic, to me, it's just not, I don't know. I get bad vibes from it. I don't like it. I think it's too much. It's too soapy, too sharp, I'm not sure. Okay, then there were also 3 Amouage fragrances in this box. There was Ciel, the All Woman, Gold Woman, Dia Woman, and Ciel. And I also tried these yesterday, and I just fell in love with Ciel. It is so, I think it means just sky in French. And the interesting thing about this is that I used to have a decant of Ciel back in, like just when I was coming into niche, and I thought it was really boring. I just thought it was like a watery, floral, nothing kind of fragrance. But now I'm kind of picking up on other things. It was created by Lucas Siujak. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. He's also made Jubilation 25 Woman. And I did wear that the other day. I will get back to you on that one because I really didn't like that. And he's also done Santal Blonde from Atelier Materi. So I guess he's kind of like still pretty active. And I hear people talking about this Lucas Sujak. I'm not quite sure. I guess he's done some pretty good stuff. Maybe he's more into men's fragrances. I think I've heard Ramsey talk about this guy. This Ciel came out in 2003. And it's very different from Gold and Dia. Those are more similar from Amouage. Ciel is a little bit watery, and at first sniff, it's kind of like, oh, this is fresh, watery, fresh flowers. It has like gardenia, water lily, jasmine, peach blossom, rose. But then it has some really interesting base notes. Incense, cedar, sandalwood, musk, and amber. And a lot of that, like, and then I was like, oh, God, this reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? And I was just sniffing and sniffing. And, oh, it reminds me of another great fragrance. And then I thought of it. It's Reflection Man. And then I looked at the perfumer, and it was the same perfumer. So there's something in there that is very similar to Reflection Man. Maybe a little more feminine than Reflection Man, which I don't think is masculine anyway at all. This is, I mean, I only have this much. It's for one wearing, and I'm going on a hunt for a decant. I'm not going to buy a full bottle. I don't even know if they make this one anymore. I haven't checked into that. But Amouage are not cheap, you know. So then I tried Gold and Dia, and Gold is a little bit too Chypre style for me, like old Chypre. And let me see if I put, oh yeah, I did write notes. It was created in 1983. So it is that era, that difficult era, the same as, you know, Fendi and Je Osé. It was created by Guy Robert, which I also hear Ramsey talking about. I don't really know this perfumer. Maybe he's not so active anymore, because I know, you know, Ramsey is probably the only one that I follow that like talks a lot about older fragrances. So maybe he was like a master perfumer back in the day, and then he hasn't made so many recent things. I'm not sure. I have to look into what this guy's done. But this one, I found this difficult to wear, and you had to wait. I mean, the long dry down was really pleasant. Would never buy a bottle though. Kind of Chanel style. A little bit, it has civet, and it has lily of the valley. I guess that's what kills it for me. And then oak moss in the base. So this is like Chypre style fragrance, except it doesn't have a citrus in the top, but it's that style. It's Ramsey's favorite style of fragrance. Gold Woman. But Dia was a lot better. I really liked that. They're both kind of aldehydic. Let's see what this one has. I think it may be that because it has heliotrope. Heliotrope and vanilla, which the other with Gold doesn't have. So it's a little bit lighter. It's more powdery. It's and it's created by Jean-Claude Elena, and he's kind of famous for making more watery, kind of lighter fragrances. And it came out in 2002. So I think that this one is a little bit more modern and easier to like. So it's kind of I think someone had written like this is a Amouage take on Chanel No. 5. I read somewhere. Is that one? I think so. And I can see why. I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't think I would go out and buy a bottle of Chanel No. 5. Did you know, guys, that they have actually gone out and like let people blind sniff Chanel No. 5, and most people don't like it today. I don't know where I read that, so don't quote me on that one, but I thought that was really interesting. Like it has Chanel has such a strong, you know, like brand recognition. It has high status. They never put things on sale. It's like, I mean, it is, I think, the designer perfume that really has the highest status, I think, according to me. I don't know. They seem to, you know, the prices are always high and fragrance is always popular. But anyway, I guess this is their take on that one, Dia Woman. I'm going to hold on to, I might pass on the gold. I think I'll pass on the gold. Put it in this little box. I have all the fragrances in this little box are actually, I'm going to bundle up and I'm going to send them to someone in our Swedish community who's interested. But before I get into those, I'll put gold in there. Yeah, I don't need that one anymore. And I'm also going to put in Jubilation 25 from Amouage. I have the original formula here. This was a big challenge for me. I've only worn it just like, you know, put a little tiny bit on my skin before. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this. Let's see if I took notes on this one. And maybe I didn't. But this was really difficult for me. Let me see. I think I did. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I did. Jubilation. Maybe I didn't. But, you know, this fragrance was just like, I put it on in the gym after I'd come out from a class and I'd taken a shower and everything. And I put kind of a lot on. And I was just like, God, what are people thinking of me now? I felt like an old lady, like a grandma that had gone way overboard. You know, like how old people, they don't have the same kind of sense of smell. They wear a lot of perfume because they need that to be able to feel it. I don't know if it's the same for all old people, but I find that, I know it's true though, that like the receptors in your nose, they kind of, same thing with your taste buds. So, you know, what children taste in their mouth is actually different from what you taste in your mouth. I think that like kids have 10,000 taste buds and adults have like 3,000. And then I think as you age, I think it starts to change even more. But this one is definitely like an 80s fragrance. I think it's from like 1983. Oh, this is really bad. I really, it's so oak mossy and it's like strong jasmine. It smells a little bit like cat pee. It's like, I can't do it again. Can't do it. So, you know, there's very little in there, but there's enough for someone to get the idea. So I think I will put it in the box to be sent on. Okay, then I just want to talk about one more fragrance before I get into the little box of the ones I'm going to give away. So if you are Swedish and you are listening to this, I will put this up in one of the Facebook groups, Nordiska Parfymkonnässörer, and you can, you know, raise your hand. I'm not going to give it to anyone that has like 100 fragrances, but someone with a smaller collection perhaps can have it. Okay, so I have, when was this? Like a year ago. I was at my favorite niche perfumery in Stockholm. It's called Cow, C-O-W. They had a fragrance there that's from the house of Gravel. And there's even a little gravel in the bottle of this particular perfume that's called a man's cologne. And it came out like in the 50s or something. And I really liked that fragrance. And then I was kind of like, oh, you know, should I get it? And then my friend said that it smells like BO on her, which made me a little hesitant. And then she said she has another fragrance in her collection that really reminds her of it. And this is a real cheapie, so I want to recommend it. Well, I mean, she found it at a thrift store for like $10 when she was in the States. And it's called Gendarme Eau de Cologne with a G. Gendarme. Gendarme. Eau de Cologne. And this one comes in lots of different varieties. I think there's like a cologne spray, there's a EDP, there's a, you know, like a bar of, you can get like a bar of soap in this fragrance. Let's see. Yeah, there's a face bar, moisture balm, body wash, and shaving cream. And it's kind of a, actually, I can't pass this one on because the decant itself has that fishy smell. But I did wear it this morning, a lot of it, and it's a really nice fragrance. And according to her, it's really similar to Gravel. So if you know that fragrance, this could be an option. I mean, I looked the price up today, and if you buy it new, it's like $130 for 100 ml, and she had bought it for $10. So, you know, there might be others out there. You can be there in the States. I guess you can buy really nice fragrances cheap in the thrift shops here. They don't typically do that because I talked to someone who was involved in that, and they said that it's like because people use them up, like everyone wants to try them, and then they kind of run out. So I think they sell them online instead or something. Anyway, this is the Eau de Cologne, and it has green notes and verbena, like lemon verbena in the top, jasmine and thyme and incense in the middle, and then like a leathery base, but it's very, very soft, like a suede leather. And many on Fragrantica say that the notes listed are super misleading, and that there's much more to it and other things to it than you get. And I'll have to say, I'll agree. Someone wrote that like in the first 5 seconds, you get like something, oh, this is fresh and clean, and you know, you get a little bit laundry, like, you know, expensive bathroom. And then after like just a little tiny while, a few minutes, then it starts to smell a little bit beachy, like copper tone suntan lotion this person had written. And I'll have to say, I get that too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it had like something creamy, like something coconut-ish or chestnut or something like that. But it's a little bit minty, and mint isn't listed in there either. It could be among the green notes. So it has like green notes. I mean, okay, this is what the brand says. The unofficial fragrance of California. Fresh, casual, and sexy, yet professional. It blends uniquely with the user's own skin scent to a signature fragrance. So I really like this on myself. I just don't like that the decant has gone fishy on this particular fragrance, so I'm not going to pass that on. I didn't know that wouldn't feel right to me. But I will use it up because it is really nice. But I don't want to get another decant since it has this, because it seems like certain fragrance profiles tend to get fishy in plastic decants, or where the top is plastic. Very rarely do I have that happen with like ambers and incensey fragrances, like heavier fragrances, but typically with like light floral, musks, citrus notes, mint, herbs, all that kind of stuff. They have a tendency to go fishy, according to me. Okay, so let's see what we've got in here. Flashback in New York from Olfactive Studio. I don't have much of that, but that is like a leather violet masculine leaning fragrance. I won't wear it, so I'm passing that on. This one is actually a beautiful fragrance, but I have something similar, and there's so little here. I'd rather just let someone else try it, because it's called Secret du Paradis Rouge. Secrets from like the Red Paradise. Or it's very tropical, floral, kind of coconut. God, my nails look horrible. But just listen to what I'm saying and don't look at my hands, please. You know, this is something about having this channel has made me just dare like release things without being perfect. Like I don't have to prepare myself so much. I don't have to look perfect. I don't have to it's for fun. And I know that you guys out there are also really interested in perfume. So it doesn't really matter. I don't have to have a perfect setup. You know, I don't need the perfect light, the perfect this, and spend so much time, you know, cutting these, or, you know, what's it called? Editing these videos, because that would take me so much time, and then I wouldn't get anything out there. So if I can just feel okay with something that's not perfect, it just makes it so much easier, and it's not so scary. And I get a lot of positive feedback, and that you guys like my videos. And if you don't have to watch them. You know, it's just between us. For me, this is kind of like social media, to meet other people all over the world, which I think is really fun. People write to me from the Netherlands, from Japan, from the States, from Canada. It's great fun. Anyway, this is from a house called Jules et Mad. It's not cheap. I haven't given proper wearings to many fragrances from this house, but this is a really good fragrance. But it reminds me a little bit of Love Don't Be Shy, and of like Oriana. And now I have a whole decant of Oriana that I need to try. So, and I tend not to reach so much for Love Don't Be Shy, and I think that I won't reach so much for this, even though I do really like it. But it's on the sweet side. Okay, and then I have two samples of Side Effect from Initio. Which I have tried again. I have had a decant before, ended up not wearing it that much. It's a tobacco, cinnamon, kind of spicy fragrance, a little bit boozy. Like, I think there's rum in here. It's nice. It's just not my style. It's a little bit too, I think that there's a little bit too much tobacco in here. I do like some other boozy. I really like Frustration, for example, from Eldo. And I like Tobacco Volute from L'Atelier Parfum. That's kind of a new favorite of mine that I've just kind of started wearing because it was a part of this box. Then I decided to pass on Don't Ask Me Permission from Simone Andreoli. I think I mentioned this in the Keepers video, but I decided to pass it on. It's a kind of Erba Pura type of dupe. And I just felt like I was thinking of wearing it. It's just too much sugar for me. I can't do it. Too tropical, too sugary, too fruity. Okay, then I tried, this was so funny because I tried this on. This is Citrus Batikanga from Maison Crivelli. And I tried it kind of after I tried some like 80s fragrances and I had Jubilation 25. And then I just put this on. I was like, oh, it felt like coming home, like coming back to the modern day, just to kind of wear something that was created quite recently. So I think there's something, all those challenging openings that we kind of had to endure back then. Now, like the fragrances are good right away. And this was created by Bertrand Dechafour, master perfumer, in 2019, so quite recently. That's it. It's been 4 years now or something, right? 4 or 5 years. But this one has really nice citrus notes and rhubarb and pomelo. And then it has chili pepper. And then in the base, it has vetiver, myrrh, and fenugreek. I like it. I just don't love it. And there's this much left. And I've just realized, I think I've had it with samples like this. If I'm going to sample something, I need a spray. This is just, I don't know. This annoys me. And especially like as soon as it falls off the card, I don't know what fragrance it is anymore because it's not marked. It's just the quality of the sample is just too low. I'm not going to mess with this anymore. I guess this comes from some place in Budapest. Budapest, it's actually pronounced. It says it comes from neroli.hu, so some Hungarian web shop, perhaps. And another one from the same Neroli, the same Hungarian shop is called Tian. And this one came from, let's see, and I think they could at least put the house, you know. But let's see, I just tried this on. Where did I put this? Okay. Oh, this is from an Argentinian house. Frassaï. Frassaï, and there's 2 dots over the I. And this one was an interesting fragrance. But since the samples are just so hopeless, I'm going to pass it on. People describe this as a grown-up peach fragrance. And it was created by Olivier Guillotin, maybe a Spanish speaker perhaps. And this reminds me, it came out in 2017. It reminds me a little bit of Bertrand Dechafour's Trayee from Neela Vermeire Creations, which is like a fruity, kind of food spicy type fragrance. Because this one has like, the notes aren't identical or anything, but it's the same style. And some people on Fragrantica say that it reminds of a, Chinese 5-spice mix powder. Do you know about Chinese 5-spice? I think like the standard spices are like star anise, cloves, cinnamon, fennel, and Sichuan pepper. And I brought my 5-spice jar out of the cabinet. And in mine, there was, let's see, coriander, fennel, nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon, clove, star anise, and Sichuan. And a lot of these notes are actually represented here. The star anise is there, the ginger. Let's see, what else? Maybe that was the only ones. There's a lot more going on in here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was nutmeg and if there was, there's a lot. It is a little bit food spicy, but then it does have a really nice peach note. The opening is a little bit fruity, leathery, and I get that sometimes from peach, kind of a soft leather, fruity leather. Many find it similar to Féminité Bois from Serge Lutens, which I'm not familiar with, but I just thought I'd mention that. It gets better after 3 minutes. It's very pretty. And I started thinking of Trayee, which I also found pretty, but I do also find it slightly like fruity foodish. Is just not, I can't see myself reaching for it. It's not my style of fragrance. Then I tried Terralba from Masque Milano. And this one, let's see here. It's kind of a green, where did I put it? Excuse me, guys. Oh yeah, I tried that was a few days ago. Woody aromatic. It was created by Delphine Thierry. And I guess she sounds French. Her name sounds French, but this is an Italian house. I very much like Tango from this house. And also Lost Alice is nice, but I passed it on because I have Angelique from Papillon, which I found similar. Anyway, this one is like, it's nice. I like the dry down, but it's not my style of fragrance. It's like herbal, citrusy. It has myrtle, thyme, immortelle, curry tree. There comes that food spicy again. And cypress. And cypress I can really feel with it reminds me of other cypress fragrances that I've tried. Juniper, and then mastic or lentisk, which is some kind of a resin that you find in these like a little bit more herbal kind of light fragrances rather than in ambers. And cedarwood. It might work on a summer day, but I'm not going to hold on to it because I don't want to hold on to too much. Then here's my first encounter with a Thai perfume house. And the house is called Prin, P-R-I-N. And the fragrance is called, I would have thought this was Polish listening to the name, because it has like it's called Ahuizotl. So Ahuizotl. And it came out in 2022. And this is a really bad fragrance. It has so many notes. I can't even, it's so earthy and soily and mushroomy and bitter. It has notes like ambergris, mushroom, tsuga, I think is a kind of mushroom too, I'm not sure. Soil tincture, choyanak, which is also, I don't know, something resinous. Bitter orange, artemisia, those are both bitter notes as well. Licorice, blackcurrant, fennel, and fennel is also licoricey. Immortelle, which can be difficult. Galbanum, which is also bitter. Leather, violet leaf, clove. Tea is also bitter. It's really bad. This one I had to scrub. I wore it, but I scrubbed it pretty quickly. And then I have one here that I got from my friend the other day. Didn't come in that big box. She was struggling a little bit with this one. She thought it was odd. I've tried it on. I can see why a little bit. It's called Éperdument, and it's from Antonio Alessandria. And I thought the first thing I thought of when I tried it on was this is a tuberose fragrance. But it's more of a, but it kind of, the tuberose, it doesn't have any tuberose listed. Let's see, here it is. It's quite expensive, this fragrance. It's like, say, I don't know the dollar right now, but roughly $180 for 50 mil. Pretty expensive. Okay, so it has green notes, ozonic notes, sea notes, fennel, and citrus in the top. So it's like fresh and kind of sea notes kind of fragrance. Jasmine, honeysuckle, orange blossom, and lily of the valley. I get tuberose, though, from this. Musk and woody notes and amber in the base. It's kind of it's kind of much, this fragrance. It's strong. It might even be an X-ray. Let's see. No, it's an EDP, but I wouldn't have been surprised if this was an X-ray. This is pretty strong. I might still have some on. It's kind of been hanging around me all morning, but I've been trying so many fragrances, so I don't even know where on me this is. But I decided that this is, it's a little, I don't like it enough to hold on to it. And it's more fun for someone else to try it. I'm going to pass it on. Éperdument from Antonio Alessandria. If you like tuberose, I would check into it for sure. And other white florals, orange blossom and honeysuckle and jasmine. So that might be interesting to someone. And then I am passing on, these didn't come in the package either. These came from Julia, who also follows my channel. I struggle too much with these, I've realized. Thanks for letting me try them. I really, really appreciate it. But I just feel like I'm not going to wear them. And I would very much like to make someone else happy. They're just little tiny amounts. But this one's actually quite full. This is at least 2 milliliter. But these other ones, I'll just tell you roughly which ones they are. Silences, vintage, PDT, a Parfum de Toilette was a concentration they used back then. This one's called, it's from Giacomo, from the 80s. And there's vintage Halston, natural colognes from a splash bottle from 1975. I struggle, these are just too difficult for me. Oh, here's the Amouage Jubilation 25. That was already in there. I told you about that already. And then there's Air with an E on the end from Loewe, a vintage formula, the oval bottle. I guess they come in some different bottles. These are just, they're too vintagey. They're too sharp, too dated. I feel like I'm not going to wear them. And I feel kind of guilty sitting on them because they might really make someone else happy, you know, to be able to go back and try old fragrances. I think that means a lot to people. Then I have another one of Cardinal from Healy. Just a drop left of that. And that one is just it's kind of a cold, incensey black pepper fragrance. It's fresh, but I'm not going to wear it. Then I think this is a discontinued Jo Malone. It is called Dark Amber and Ginger Lily. This one I was on the fence about. Like, should I keep this or shouldn't I? And I decided not to. Many find it similar to Versace Noir, which I'm not familiar with. And also Gris Charnel from BDK, according to 27 people. And it has very many reminds me of on Fragrantica. Like, there's like a long row of other fragrances that are similar to this. So, I mean, if I would find this, there are other things that I could find that's similar. But I get a hint of something creamy like coconut. It's not just... I struggle a little bit with ginger and fragrances. Like right off the top like this, it smells like super much like alcohol and booze. It's ginger, black cardamom, pink pepper in the top, water lily, orchid, jasmine, rose in the mid, ambergris in the bottom, and incense, leather. Okay, it's heavy. That's why it's heavy. Patchouli and sandalwood. Leather is sometimes it really gets heavy. And maybe I don't know what's making it smell so much like alcohol or booze really, but maybe the combination with ginger and patchouli perhaps. But there's also in the dry down, I got something quite creamy. Not bad, this fragrance. It has 4.14 is like the rating on Fragrantica. Came out in 2008, so I'm guessing it's no longer around. And then there was Gold Woman. I already talked about that one. Then there's one called Alahine, an E on the end, from Teo Cabanel. Came out in 2007. I think it might be discontinued. It's a nice floral with an ambery base, but these hopeless little samples, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. Very, very many under reminds me of. So, I mean, there's a lot with this style, like floral with ambery base. Is there anything that sticks out? Let me see. No. It's like benzoin, labdanum the base, and then ylang ylang. There's nothing special in there. Then there is another fragrance. This was something a little bit different, actually. This one I would have liked to, had I had a better sample, I would have kept this. It's called Amber Muscadin from Laurent Mazzoni Parfum. I think it's an Italian house. Came out in 2011. It's a little bit, it's animalic for sure. That was the first thing that kind of struck me. This is animalic, but it's not super skanky. It's like animalic, but not too much. It's powdery. It's a little shalimar-y. There's a little bitterness. It's an interesting amber that I would have liked to spend more time with, but there's not really enough in there. And I feel like I can't, it's just these little, I can't mess around with these anymore. It's making me stressed. So, and then I have just a little bit, and I finished trying this already, a little tiny drop of Vanille from Mona di Oreo. I like it, but I'm not in love with it. Gonna pass that on too. And then there's a last one here called Amber. Let's see. Ambre et Vanille. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one here. Okay, never mind. It's called Ambre et Vanille, or Vanilla, from E. Coudray from 1935. This is also a little bit shalimar-y, but sweeter and really, really powdery. A lot of people were kind of going on and on about how synthetic and cheap it smells. I didn't agree with that it smelled cheap. I like kind of the heliotrope, but there's so little left. And I just thought maybe someone will think it's fun, you know. Maybe someone that's just starting out and doesn't have that many fragrances. But I have so many. I need to clear out and just get ready. And this week I've really gotten a lot done. I hopefully gonna get my hair cut before I start on the 17th. I'm going to sell one of my cars. The kids have been driving around in it, just causing me a bunch of trouble. I just want to make sure that we have, you know, laundry detergent and cat food and everything at home, so I don't have any like, oh, I have to go to the store and buy this and this. I want to be like all set and have everything has its right place. I'm going to be sorting through my like odds and ends drawer in the kitchen because everything's just thrown in there. So like Band-Aids are in one place and this is in this place, and I have tape where I know I need the tape and stamps, and I want to be, you know, that organized person that has her act together. That's who I want to be. I only have one goal for this year, and that is to actually manage this job, to be able to, you know, contribute to this company, because I won't be there long if I don't contribute. If I don't, you know, I have to do business basically and get myself onto the projects and sell myself and, you know, use my contacts. It's going to be a change for me. You know, I've had my freedom for so long, but I'm ready for this change. I know I can do it, but it is, it's a little scary. I bought some new clothes, some new like work pants and some new, so I feel like I'm all set. So this is really fun. And this is just one part of my clearing out. I'm doing other kinds of clearing out as well, but it feels so good just to, I sent off a whole package of stuff the other day to someone in the group who only had 4 perfumes. I think a younger guy, or he's just someone who just kind of got into fragrance. So that felt really good. And these are going to go to someone as well. And then I'll have some little other little minis and stuff to pass on to people that come on Sunday. Okay, guys, that was all for now.